When baby boomers expand their tech horizons, who is the most likely to be called in to help set up devices and figure out glitches? Their adult children, who weather their parents' needs with varying states of grace. Here with the story of intergenerational tech support is WSJ senior style reporter Elizabeth Holmes. Hi, Elizabeth. Great to see you. I love your story. It's exactly the story of my household. I'm constantly helping my parents with their tech needs.
Yes.
Do you do the same?
This is my father. I have to give a big shout out to Pete Holmes. He calls me all the time with lots of questions, my husband as well. And I think what is really interesting here is this generation they're very enthusiastic about technology. My dad wants to buy a lot of stuff. He wants to have an iPad. He wants to be on Facebook. But there's some hurdles there, right?
Sure.
And so when something happens, they're not quite sure where to turn. And so they usually pick up the phone and call their son or daughter.
Who they can trust. You know,
Yes.
I think there is a trust issue when it comes to tech. It's a little scary if you call a stranger to come and work on your tech for you. Who knows what they might be doing?
Well, you sort of don't know who's on the other end of the phone either. And so a lot of times, you know, they call a call center somewhere and there's not that familiarity there. So they're looking for that.
And in most cases, are these baby boomers buying the tech for themselves? Are children gifting it to them? Is it a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I think, again, these boomers are really enthusiastic adopters, but a lot of times children are sort of thrusting these things on their parents. And so for their birthday, maybe try an Apple TV, try a Chromecast, watch Netflix this way. Right. And suddenly parents find themselves with these devices that they didn't necessarily want, and now they want to use, and, you know, and
there must be an uptick of this sort of tech need during birthdays, holidays,
any gift-giving occasion, I think, or any reason that you sort of come home. I know too, my family lives in Chicago, and so anytime I, you know, happen to cross through the front door, it's like, well, could you just take a look over here? You know, and you don't want to say no, they're your parents, right?
Of course.
But it can be a little stressful.
Absolutely. And so are tech sort of IT companies mimicking this relationship a little bit?
Yes, so there's a startup out of Southern California called Hello Tech, and they honed in on this pretty early and said this is a great relationship that we want to sort of tap into. And they recruited college students as their IT workers to kind of mimic that generational divide. Best Buy has their Geek Squad, and they have a great program for $199. You can get 24/7 support on the phone, online, or in stores for a whole year. So if you want to throw some money at this problem, that's a great option.
I love that option because you talk to some experts about this too, because not every adult child is capable of dealing with all of their parents' tech needs, right?
No, and just because they ask, it doesn't mean you have to say yes. You know, I mean, if they ask you to fix your refrigerator, would you say yes? You know, no, I certainly wouldn't. There is sort of a comfort level, though, with a younger generation, and I think you can teach them ways to troubleshoot a little bit themselves, right? You can teach them that you can type a whole question into Google, not just keywords, and sometimes, you know, it'll pop up a phrase, or autocomplete will complete the question for you, and you can sort of give them some tools to figure it out. Anytime you're helping a parent, you should definitely talk about what you're doing while you're doing, or better yet, have them sit at the computer and actually do it themselves.
So you're walking them through it, but they're physically doing it.
Yes, because that kind of knowledge is not just power, it's comfort for them, right? As they get more used to doing something. I talked to one family who, you know, they have a Samsung Smart TV, and their son wrote, you know, step-by-step instructions that they keep by the television, which is really nice too. So that's a good option for when you're not around. Give them some tools to try and figure it out themselves.
And when you hit the limits of your tech knowledge, there's no shame in picking up the phone and calling an expert.
None at all. Save the family.
That's right. Elizabeth Holmes, thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Tanya.